Alright, and hello everyone, it is me, Jay Burns, and in this tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to make this bracelet right here. This bracelet is my own original design, and it is called the I Love Crochet bracelet. Yeah, that's a pretty interesting name, I'd say. It's pretty unique, I hope. Unique name. I decided to name this bracelet that because this bracelet uses the simple crochet stitches you can see here on the sides for the border, and then there's hearts going down in the middle. So I thought, I love crochet, why not? So yeah, I'll be showing you how to make this bracelet. And yeah, okay, so I'm going to show you how to make it. So to make the bracelet, you will need your hook. Just a hook, you will not need a loom. This is a hook only bracelet. And yeah, so you'll need a hook. Any hook should work. You will also need a clip. I'm going to be using a C-clip, but whatever clip you have for rubber band bracelets will work. You will also, of course, need rubber bands. And as you can see here, there are 3 groups, the A, B, and C group. I'm going to go ahead and explain what each group is. So the A group, these A rubber bands, they are the rubber bands that are here in the center. So all of your heart rubber bands, and they are red in this example. So all the hearts. Then these B rubber bands, they are the rubber bands that are crossing here in the middle and that connect all of the hearts together. They also include the cap band and the last rubber band in your bracelet, which are attached to the clip. Then we have the C rubber bands, and they are the border rubber bands. So they're all along the outside of the bracelet, and they are white in the example. So they are the border, the crochet border. And I am using 2 different colors in this tutorial, so that's why there's 2 different types of bands here. I'm using these white silk bands and these Caribbean green. Yeah, just had to check the name real quick. So they're both from Rainbow Loom if you want to get some or something. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and show you how to make the bracelet. So, before I do, to figure out how many rubber bands you will need to make this bracelet, go down to the description. There will be a little, right at the top of the description pretty much, it tells you how many rubber bands you will need for each section. So for each heart, individual heart, you will need so many of each kind of rubber band. It'll tell you everything. And yeah, just figure out about how many hearts you'll need and get all your supplies. Use the pause button if you need to. We're gonna go ahead and get started. So, okay, this paper's in the way. Alright, so to begin, you're going to need your A and your B rubber bands first. And also, before we begin, I'm only going to be able to show you how to make the bracelet. So the pattern for the bracelet twice, I'll only be able to show you twice. And then I'm going to show you how to continue, but I'm only going to show you the pattern twice, and then I'm going to move on. So you'll see in a moment. Alright, so to begin, you're going to need a B color rubber band, and we're going to make a cap band first. So, to make a cap band, you take your hook and a B color rubber band. You put the B color rubber band on your hook, just like so. And while the rubber band is on your hook, you'll twist the band. So now you have something like this. And you're going to go ahead and put the other end, so this new shape you create, onto your hook as well. You should get something like this. And now we're going to get started with the actual pattern for the bracelet. Now for this first heart, it's different from all the rest. As you can see here in the bracelet, all of the B color rubber bands, which are black, they are all crossed here in the middle. So they're all crossed like this. Except for the very first heart, as you can see. This one has just a regular old rubber band. It's not twisted or anything. So I will show you how to twist the rubber bands, but I'll only be able to show you once. And yeah, so the only B color rubber band that isn't twisted and is attached to a heart is this first one. Alright, so you're going to get another B color rubber band. You're going to put it on your hook like so, and you're just going to go ahead and slide the cap band that's already on your hook onto this new B color rubber band. Now you're going to put the other end of the new B color rubber band onto your hook as well, and now we're going to add our A color rubber bands, or our first heart. Alright, so the pattern has started with this first B color band, not the cap band. So here we're continuing the pattern. We're starting it actually. So to begin, you're going to need 2 A color rubber bands. You're going to put them both on your hook like so. And you're going to take this first loop, this loop right here that's closest to the new rubber bands, and slide it on to the new rubber bands. This second loop here, you're going to leave it on your hook. You're not going to put it on the new rubber band. So you should have something like this. And once you do, you're going to put the other end of these A color rubber bands, you should have 2, onto your hook like so. And now we need to flip the rubber bands. And by flip the rubber bands, I mean you take the rubber bands, pinch them together, and you have to take them off of your hook very carefully. I apologize if my fingers get in the way. Then once you've taken them off, you're going to turn them around and put the rubber bands back on your hook. So all those you were just holding. And you should get something like this. So you should have the opposite of what you had before. Alright. Now you're going to get 2 more A color rubber bands and do the same thing. Put them on the actual part of your hook, like so, and slide this first loop, which should be a B color rubber band, onto these 2 new A color bands. So only this first loop, none of these other A color bands here. Alright, once you have the B color loop on there, you can put the other end of these 2 A color bands onto your hook. And now we're almost finished. Now we need to add this last A color rubber band that we need for our heart. And what we're going to do is we're going to take it, we're going to put it on the actual part of our hook, and we're going to slide all of these rubber bands that are on our hook except for these last 2 over here. So the last 2 A color bands, we're going to slide all of them, okay, let me re-explain that. So we're going to slide all of these A color rubber bands except for these last 2 furthest away from the new rubber band. So these 2 over here. We're going to slide all of these rubber bands on except for those 2. Like that. And before we put the other end of this new rubber band on our hook, we're going to take these 2 A color rubber bands that are closest to our fingers that are holding the new rubber band. So these 2 over here, they're not really bunched up like these 4, so these, it's hard to point to them. These over here, next to my thumb. You're going to take those 2 and you're going to put them back on your hook. And to do that, you kind of just push them up and back on, like that. So if you were to take this rubber band back, you would have this, you know, hopefully. So I'll show you again just in case. So you have the 2 bands that are closest to your fingers holding the new rubber band. Take those 2, you slide them back onto your hook. And then, once you have them back on, you're going to take this new rubber band you're holding with your fingers and put it on your hook. Then you'll need to adjust all of the rubber bands that are on your hook so that all of your A color rubber bands that are doubled, so that means there's 2 instead of 1. Make sure they're on the outside and the new A color rubber band is in the center. So you should have something like this whenever, yes, you should have something like this. And that is the first heart. So that took a little bit too long. I'll try to go a little bit faster the second time around. Alright, so now the pattern starts over. We need another B color rubber band and 5 more A color bands. And now I'm going to show you how you cross or twist the B color rubber band for the bracelet. So, before we can even twist this thing, we need to put it on our hook and add it to our bracelet. So put the B color rubber band on your hook like so. Then slide all of these A color rubber bands, all of them, onto this new B color band. Now you're going to put the other end of this B color rubber band onto your hook. Alright. Now what we're going to do is we're going to twist this B color rubber band. So to do that, it's really simple. All you have to do is take this rubber band, or not this rubber band, this loop here, furthest away from the actual part of your hook. So this loop right here, on the right for me. You're going to take it and pull it off of your hook. So not the other loop, but this one here, that was furthest away. And it's kind of like you're making a slip knot, but you're not going to tighten the bands. You're just going to just kind of pull it off, and it's going to kind of loop like this. Now what you're going to do is you're going to get 2 A color rubber bands, put them on the actual part of your hook, like all of your other rubber bands that you add. Then you're going to take this one loop that's here on your hook, and you're going to slide it onto these 2 new A color bands. Then you're going to put the other end of these 2 A color rubber bands onto your hook. And now, what you're going to do is before you can add any more add any more bands, you're going to take this loop down here that you had taken off of your hook before. So this down here that's kind of making a slip knot. You're going to take that loop down there, grab it, and put it back on your hook. But you're not going to untwist the band, so don't let this B color rubber band, or this loop here, that you just put back on, don't let it go over these A color bands. So just keep it where it is, right here, closest to the actual part of your hook. So now, once you have put this B color loop or band back, you're going to get 2 more A color rubber bands. Do the same thing you've done with pretty much all of them. You're going to put them on the actual part of your hook and slide this very first loop, only the very first loop, which should be this B color rubber band, onto these 2 new A color bands. Which seems to be a challenge for some reason. There we go. Right. So just like that, you should already have this crossing little shape here, and if your bands are a little bit twisted like that, you can just turn it. And yeah, once you have that rubber band, that little loop, onto the new A color bands, you're going to put the new rubber bands, the other end you're holding with your fingers, onto your hook as well. Now we just need to add 1 more rubber band to finish this second heart. So we're going to do the same thing we did before with the other just single A color band. You're going to put it on the actual part of your hook, and you're going to slide all of these rubber bands that are on your hook except for these 2 that are furthest away from the actual hook part of your hook. So you're going to want to make sure all your rubber bands are organized in order. None of your A color bands should be overlapping each other. Alright, so except for these 2 here at the end, you're going to slide all of the rubber bands that are on your hook onto these 2, or onto this new A color band. Then, looking here on the new A color rubber band, we're going to take these 2 A color rubber bands that are together, that are closest to the your fingers, that should be holding the new rubber band. So these 2 here, closest to your fingers. You're going to take them and you're going to kind of put them back on your hook. Like that. And then you'll put the other end of this new rubber band onto your hook as well. And you'll need to organize the rubber bands, so resort them And make sure that the new rubber band that you just added is in the very middle, so in the center, and nothing is overlapping anything here on your hook. Alright, so there we go. And then you would just continue the pattern. So you would get another B color rubber band and 5 more A color rubber bands and do the exact same thing you just did. So this last heart that we just added, where we had to cross the B color rubber band, you would repeat that same pattern over and over until you have made the bracelet long enough to fit around your wrist, or until you've run out of rubber bands if you took the time to measure and do all that stuff. But yeah, so you'll just continue that pattern over and over, and if you need to see it again, I'm going to show you again, but I'm not going to explain, because as you can see here, I have already made a bracelet that's almost long enough. It just needs 2 more hearts, which are right here. So yeah, I just need to add 2 more hearts, so you'll be able to see what you need to do for the rest of the bracelets. So I'm going to go ahead and take this thing that I just made on camera apart, and I'm going to add it to this chain here. As you can see, all the hearts look really messed up, which that's okay. As long as you've made the bracelet right, you should be able to adjust these in a moment. So continue making the bracelet, and if you need to see how you continue, just look at the screen. Also, use the pause button if you need to. Alright. So I'm going to go ahead and go through the pattern. I just twisted the band, kind of. Oh yeah, I just twisted the rubber band. Alright. Almost finished. Just need to add this last band here. Alright, sorry if that scared you, but that is just to get your attention, just in case, if you were letting the video play. And ow, my neck hurts. Cramp. Okay. Okay, whatever. I'm gonna have to finish recording. Alright, so, as you can see here, I have added all the hearts that I need to make this bracelet fit around my wrist. I think it's just a little bit long, but I guess that's a good thing. Alright, so now I've made the bracelet long enough to fit around my wrist, like I just said. And you should have as well. Just use the pause button if you need to. But now what we're going to do is we're going to add our border. So you might have been confused, like, wait, when are we going to use our C-color rubber bands? What were the point of those? Well, first we had to make the bracelet, but now we can make the border. So go ahead and get your C-color rubber bands. Okay, I don't think I need that many. Alright, so go ahead and get all your C-color rubber bands, and you're also going to need one more B-color rubber band, so you should only have one more left. You will also need your clip, and mine, okay, there it is. And you'll also need your clip. So all your C-color rubber bands, one B-color rubber band, which should be your last one, and then your clip. Alright, so first we're going to deal with the clip and the B-color rubber band. We're going to take the B-color rubber band first, put it on the actual hook part of our hook, and just slide all of these rubber bands that are on our hook, which should be A-color rubber bands, onto this new B-color rubber band, and then put this new B-color rubber band you're holding with your fingers onto your hook. That's really all you had to do with that. Alright, once you have that B-color rubber band added, you'll go ahead and get your clip, and you'll just give this B-color rubber band a little stretch. So stretch it out a little bit so you can get the clip on. So you'll need to attach the clip to this band here. And then once you have done that, you can take the rubber bands off of your hook, and they should be on your clip. And now you should have your little hearts. So if your hearts are a little bit messed up, you might want to adjust them, because you'll need to do that. That will make making the bracelet a whole lot easier. So make sure you try to get everything twisted correctly. So I'm going to need a couple minutes to adjust, as you can probably tell. Right. Really confusing sometimes when you're trying to adjust this bracelet. Alright. Something's wrong with my heart there. Holy moly, it got really dark. Alright, I'm gonna go check and make sure that the clouds aren't just blocking the sun. Alright, they are, but I'm gonna go ahead and turn on a light real quick. Alright, sorry about that whole thing there. Now, once you have adjusted your bracelet and it looks fine to you, then you can get started on making the border. So, to make the border, you're going to need your hook and your C-color bands and your bracelet. And what you're going to do is you're going to start with one rubber band, so one C-color rubber band, and you're going to want to have the puffy side, so there's one side of your bracelet that seems to puff up or convex, And then there's the other side of your bracelet that seems to not really puff out or concave. And you're going to want the convexing side, the side that's puffing up, to be pointing downwards when you're making the bracelet. Yes, that's what you're going to want. Alright. So we're going to start up here where we have our cap band. And we're going to take our hook and we're going to slide it. So with the puffy side, the convexing side facing down, we're going to slide our hook going up through this first band. So it's the first B color rubber band there. And what we're going to do is we're going to take our first C color rubber band, only one. All of these are singled, so they're all one. Just one rubber band. You're going to put it on the actual part of your hook, like so, and slide it back down through this first B color band. Then you'll put the other end of this new rubber band onto your hook, and you'll make a slip knot. You'll take this side of the rubber band furthest away from the actual part of your hook, so this here. You're going to take it and pull it off of your hook, not the other loop. Make sure it stays on. Right. Make sure you keep the slip knot on this side of your, on one side of your cap band. So don't forget your cap band there. Make sure you start your border on the right side of your cap band. Not literally the right, because maybe you might be on the left. But just make sure you start it on the correct side. So the side you're going to be making the border on, make sure that's the side of the cap band you're on. So this side for me. Alright. Now, keeping the bracelet with the convexing side facing down, so the puffy side, you're going to take your hook and you're going to go through these 4 loops of A color rubber bands in your first heart. So you should have your hook kind of coming out like this. So you don't need to take any rubber bands off or twist them. And what we're going to do now is we're going to get another C color rubber band. We're going to put it on our hook, like so. Then we're going to pull this rubber band through, so back down through these 4 rubber bands here, or 4 loops. Then you're going to put the other end of this new C color rubber band onto your hook, and you're going to take these 2 loops. So now these 2 bands over here that are furthest away from the actual part of your hook. So these 2 over here, you're going to take them both and pull them over your hook. Pull them over and off your hook. Just like that. So you should be left with one little loop on your hook. And now you're going to do the same thing again with the same heart. Keeping this rubber band here on your hook and keeping the puffy side pointing down. You're going to take your hook, go back up through the same 4 little bands, coming out the same way you did before, going a little bit further down the bracelet, just a little bit. You're going to go up through those. You're going to get another C color rubber band, put it on the actual hook part of your hook, like so, and then slide, or pull this rubber band back down through those 4 little bands, or loops, and put the other end of this new rubber band you're holding with your fingers onto your hook. And now these 2 loops over here, these 2 that are furthest away from the actual hook part of your hook, you're going to take them both and pull them off and over the hook, but not this very first one. So you can probably kind of see the border starting to kind of materialize or form, using some vocabulary, some new vocabulary in these tutorials. Right, and anyway, once you have put 2 rubber bands here on the same heart, which that's what we just did, you're going to move on to the next heart. So I guess I should go ahead and explain the pattern for making the border. So, the pattern for making the border is you take your hook and put it going through the same side of one heart twice. And that doesn't sound right. So you take your hook, you put it going through the next heart, so the next rubber band in line, so the next heart on one side, and you should stay on the same side for all of your hearts. So for me it's the right. You do a simple little crochet stitch, which is kind of like making a slip knot. Then you go through that same heart on the same side again and add another rubber band. And then once you do that, you move on to your next heart, and you're going to do the same thing on the same side of that heart as you did the previous. And you'll do the same thing. So if that was confusing, I'm going to go ahead through and explain it again. I'll show you the pattern 2 more times. So, as you can see here, I've done these slip knots twice here on this first heart. Now I'm going to move on to the next heart. I'm going to take my hook and put it going through these 4 little loops here on the right side. And you have your bracelet like this. So you're going to take your hook going through those 4 loops. Nothing else. On the next heart, you don't twist any rubber bands at all. You take a C color rubber band, put it on your hook, and pull it going down through. So you should have the puffy side pointing downwards, and then you'll need to take this new rubber band and pull it back down through. So you should have went underneath and up. You're going to pull it down through those rubber bands. Then you're going to put the other end of the new rubber band onto your hook. And these 2 little loops here, furthest away from the actual hook part of your hook, you're going to take them and pull them off and over your hook. Alright, now you're going to do the same thing again. You're going to go in from the bottom, you're going to go in from the bottom, go through the same 4 little loops, or 4 little bands that you did before, not taking anything or flipping it around. Then you're going to take another, another C color rubber band, put it on the actual hook part of your hook, and slide it going back down through those same 4 little loops. Then you'll put the other end of the new rubber band onto your hook, and then these 2 loops that are furthest away from the actual hook part of your hook, you're going to take them off and over your hook, like so. And now you should have done the little crochet stitch, the little slip knot crochet stitch twice on this second heart. So now you're going to move on to the third heart. So make sure you have your bands not twisted up. And as you can see, the heart rubber bands are starting to puff up on this side here where we're adding the stitches. So your heart should start to kind of like invert, so it should start to become puffy on the top. But it actually looks the same on both sides. Alright, so well, let's see what happens on this next heart. So once you've done little crochet stitching here on the second heart, and you've done it twice, you'll need to go on to the third heart. So make sure your rubber bands aren't twisting up. Make sure they're staying the same. They're keeping that X cross shape. You're going to take your hook, you're going to put it going up through, so from the bottom up through these 4 loops here on the same side of the bracelet, or yeah, the same side of the heart as the other hearts you have done. Only those 4 bands. Alright, then you're going to get a C color rubber band. You're going to put it on your hook, like so. And then you're going to slide that rubber band going down through those 4 loops. And you're going to put the other end of the new rubber band onto your hook, like so. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take these 2 rubber bands here, these 2 little loops furthest away from the actual hook part of your hook, and you're going to take them, pull them off and over your hook. Right, then you'll do the same exact thing again. You'll go back underneath the heart and go through those same 4 loops. Alright, then you're going to get another C-color rubber band, put it on your hook, slide it going back down through those 4 little loops. Then you'll put the other end of the new rubber band onto your hook, and you'll slide these 2 loops here furthest away from the actual hook part of your hook onto this loop here that is off and over your hook. I almost confused myself there. And as you can see here, your border should be forming on one side of your bracelet. And yeah, so you're just going to continue this pattern over and over until you get to the very end of your bracelet and you get down here to your last rubber band. And as you can see here in the example, you do not put the rubber band or any rubber bands going through this last one here. As you can see here, it does this weird thing where they're also on the last rubber band. And I'm going to go ahead and show you, or I'm not going to go ahead, I'm going to show you how you do that. And yeah, I have to finish my border first. So I'm going to go ahead and work on my border. You're going to go ahead and continue as well. And yeah, it's going to be kind of like a race to the finish. Kind of. But if I do finish before you, just use the pause button if you need to. And yeah, so I'll see you once you finish. I would recommend letting the video play, by the way. And also, as a tip, make sure you always go from the, make sure you always have what was the puffy side pointing down, and you always go down from the bottom up through the bands. So this would be the puffy side, or the concaving, or the convexing side. Make sure you always have that pointing downwards, and you always go from underneath of the bracelet up. Just a tip. So don't trust these rubber bands up here where you already have the border. You can only trust the non-border bands to guide you. And I think I just did this twice. Oh, yes, I did. Okay. Right, next heart. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody finished before me. I'm going so slowly. Pick it up. Speed up, Jay Burns. Alright, twice on that heart. This heart is weird. It's like backwards. Okay. Whatever. And I apologize if the video gets a little bit fuzzy because I get too close to the camera. Right. It's really hard to show you what I'm doing. I'm gonna adjust the camera real quick. Add this next band. Alright, there we go. Now I can be a little more free with my movements. And I'm taking this bracelet off. Nope, nope, nope. That's not it. There we go. What is going on here? Oh. This part is all messed up. Alright, I'm almost finished. Oh, come on. Really? And bands are getting messed up again. Okay, what is happening? Oh, almost finished. Come on, hurry. Alright, I just need to add one more rubber band after this one, and then I will be finished. Alright, get on there. Alright, well that took way too long. Alright, so now I am finally finished adding the border to one side of the bracelet. And now it is time to take this rubber band and put it on this last rubber band here in the bracelet. So to do that, it's really, really easy. You're going to take this rubber band here, so here that has the clip on it. You're going to put both of the little loops onto your hook. So you're going to slide your hook through. Just make sure they're on. You're going to take the rubber bands off of the clip. And what you're going to do, you're going to take this first rubber band off. Or I guess this last one off. So you're going to take this last one off here. And you're going to make this kind of like a slip knot like you've done before. You'll take this loop that's furthest away from the actual part of your hook and slide it off of your hook. Off and over. Just like that. And you'll put the other end of the rubber band back on your hook. So this is that rubber band that was on your clip originally. And now, as you can see, the border rubber band, that C color rubber band, should be on this B color rubber band that is on your hook. And then you can just take your clip and reattach this rubber band to it. And there you go. So that's how you make one side of your border. To make the other side of your border, you do the exact same thing. You come back up here to the beginning of your bracelet where your cap band is, and you start here with this first rubber band, and you do one little crochet stitch up here, and then for the opposite side of the bracelet, so the opposite side, for me it would be the left, you would do the same things, except you would be going, it'd be kind of like you're going backwards. It would feel like it, but you won't. But make sure you keep your bracelet facing the same way. If you are now mixed up and you kind of flip the bracelet around a lot, you want to start with the bracelet, so you want to have your bracelet facing up on the side where the rubber bands in your border are kind of like closer together, so they're close together on the hearts. Not the other side where they're kind of splitting, the other side. So that's the side you're going to want to be making the other half of your border on. And then when you finish the other side of the border, you'll do the same thing with the last rubber band on there. You'll take your, it'll be on your hook, you'll slide your hook back through these bands, and then you'll take the last one off, or the one closest to your the actual hook part of your hook off, but hold it, and then slide the border rubber band off and over your hook. That goes all sticky. Alright, whatever. But yeah, that's how you would do the other side of your border. I'm not going to be doing that because this tutorial is already like 15 minutes long, and I apologize. So I will not be doing the other side of the border. But the thumbnail will show how it looks in the end. But in the end, your bracelet should end up looking like this. So it should look something like this. And then, yeah. So just go ahead and make the other side of the border. But I'm going to go ahead and do the outro. So, I would like to thank you for watching my tutorial. Hopefully you were able to make the other side of the border successfully, and hopefully it's not all backwards or anything. But if it was, then you might have been on the wrong side of your bracelet. Like, the side should be facing down. Yeah, that side should be facing down. Yeah. Yeah. I can remember there for a moment. But yeah, so that's pretty much it for this tutorial. Hopefully you were able to make the bracelet successfully, and hopefully you love this bracelet as much as this bracelet loves crochet. And yeah, hopefully I said that right, crochet. Pretty sure that's how it's said. But anyway, that's all I have to say for this tutorial, other than thanks for watching, and bye!